番だよ Guess that grade さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点未来を占うのさせーの Guess that grade グレードを予想 Guess that grade 君の番だよ Guess that grade
All right. Welcome back for another stream. We're going to do another card review today, and we're doing it on Aurorus, which we've actually pulled from a Perfect Order pack the other week. So we got quite a few things that we're going to do. We have another tag slab that we have veiled, and we need to unveil it. So we'll do that at the end of the stream. We got the Aurorus that we're obviously going to be grading on this stream. And for the pack openings, which I think is like the first thing we'll start off everything with, is I went to Best Buy and I saw these two Naruto packs just kind of sitting there on the shelf. So I thought it'd be cool to open these because I haven't done that before, and I do like this show. I don't watch it all the time or anything, but I think it'd be fun to do. And I recently got a kids meal thingy, the Huntrix meal at meal at McDonald's, which it came with chicken nuggets and the fries with like that special mix. Really good. If you haven't tried it, I would definitely recommend it. But it also comes with a pack. So just one card. It's a Saja Boys. I was hoping it'd be Huntrix. Saja Boys is cool too. Don't really care too much about the individual characters there. I'm more of a Mira fan. If you like Demon Hunters, all three girls are huge. They're great, but Mira is probably like my inner child or my inner spirit, I guess, whatever you want to call it. So let's start this off. We'll do a quick pack opening review. We'll do the Saja Boys one first, and then we'll go into the card grading for Aurorus, to get that started. So let's go ahead and switch over there. Beautiful little pack here. And it just comes with one, well, at least it's one card. I don't actually know. I've never seen anything on this. So it's my first time opening it. I don't even know if you can grade these kinds of things. So it comes with a VIP surprise, I guess. I don't know. Hello, friend. Oh, that's really cool. That's nice and holographic. I don't know what that is for exactly, so I'll have to check that out later. And then only on Netflix, K-pop Demon Hunters, and we got Jinu. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. How do I know if these are worth anything? I have no idea. But it's a nice holographic. It just got his face on there. And I don't know if it's printing or not, but it's definitely not gem mint. I've never graded one of these cards before, but it looks like there's some indentation or factory kind of indentations, probably from it being held, or maybe just being in the pack. I don't know. Maybe it's being handled at McDonald's through the little Huntrix thing. So cool. That's cool, I guess. We'll go ahead and do the Naruto box here, and I don't think Pokemon comes with like an easy rip like that. That's kind of convenient. Now we'll just open this up, and I don't know what to assume here. So if you are familiar with Naruto, that'd be cool to know. Like, leave a comment down below on what is a good card. I would have to assume, and I don't know what's in these. What kind of cards are in these packs? Like what? This is Naruto Collectible Series 1. Heaven's Scroll. I don't know what cards to expect. I have not looked at it at all online, but I'm assuming just based on the artwork on the outside, it's probably like not Shippuden. It's probably the maybe first season, possibly, of it. So maybe like a Kakashi or Sasuke, Naruto, but I would like the Sage or something, but that's obviously in Shippuden. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. Oh, these are sideways. Okay. Battle of the Bridge with Zabuza. I forgot how to pronounce his name. He's the dude with the big sword, I believe, right? So that's interesting. These are all holographic in their scenes. The Broken Seal. Okay. This one looks with the Neji. Is that a sticker? This looks cool. Like, it looks important. I don't know. SS. Okay, you are, must mean ultra rare, I'm assuming. Sasuke, super secret rare. I have no idea what that means. We got a scroll with Sasuke. Pretty cool. We got Gara. That looks pretty legit. I like the artwork on this. Okay, Sasuke and Naruto just having the little rivalry, and then I don't remember what this is called, but it's his silly face. And then you got how do you pronounce his name again? Not Iruka. It's not Iruka. I forgot how to pronounce how to actually properly pronounce that. But that's his sensei that was basically like his father. So okay, interesting. We got some cool cards. This doesn't look like it's actually a card game. It looks like this is strictly just a collectible. So this will be interesting because I know. Geez, okay, maybe this thing isn't super easy to open. Okay, it's like stuck in there. Jeez. All right, we're just gonna have to rip this open. But this doesn't seem like it's an actual card game. Oh my gosh. All right, bear with me, guys. I know this is painful to watch. I'm very aware because it's painful for me to even do. Okay. Oh, okay. It's like glued to this. You see that? Jeez. Okay, so this is my proof. It was not me. It's actually like glued to it. But it tells you, oh, it looks like odds. 24 packs per box, 8 cards per pack, and yeah, different types. So we had the ultra rare on the last one. So that's interesting. So let's go back to this. SR, which is like one of the lower ones, I'm assuming. SR, I don't know what this is. It doesn't say on this one here. NRS, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't say PT. I don't know what these are. SSR, which is like the third from the bottom. This is an ultra rare with Neji. We got another rare and another rare. Okay, so nothing too crazy from the actual pack. And if you're just joining me now, I'm going through and just opening up a couple of packs to start off the stream. I'm doing Naruto today just because I found it's my best buy, but we're going to be doing a review of Aurorus, which is right here in a little bit. But I'm just this is getting my itch out the way for opening packs. And I haven't opened these before. It looks like these Naruto ones are just illustrations. It doesn't look like, or maybe there is some kind of TCG out of this. I'm not sure. Okay. Another SSR from Naruto. That's pretty cool. That's a beautiful artwork. Similar one to the Sasuke one we just looked at. Another SSR from Kakashi. That's awesome. He's doing the I forgot what it's called. The little juicy calls where he basically just pokes you in your ass. So fun times. Okay, Gara, pretty cool. Running through the forest. And then Haku. Was Haku the female that Naruto thought was a male? Or it is a male that Naruto thought was a female, I think. And then another SR from Sasuke. So we didn't get anything super crazy out of these 2 packs. My first time opening them, why not? So let's say the SSRs we got were the Naruto and Kakashi. We did get an ultra rare. What did I say? Was that still? Oh, ultra rare is actually higher than SSR. There's an SSR again. It's SR. Let me see if I got another ultra rare somewhere. No, so these are the hits, if you will. The highest one being Neji with the ultra rare, and then we got Naruto, Kakashi, and then Sasuke. So cool. I'll have to look those up. I don't know if they're worth anything. I doubt it. But it might be worth like grading and trying out something different. I also opened earlier a pack from McDonald's on the Huntrix kids meal. that they give out, and I got a Genu from Saja Boys. So pretty cool there. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's move some of these cards out of the way and get to what you came here to watch, which is how to grade your card. Okay, so we have the Aurorus. This is from Perfect Order. It's like a $4 card, and I think that a lot of people assume that because it's not worth a lot, it may not be worth grading, and that is something that you can definitely think about. I think it's really important. It's actually one of the pieces of my channel that I focus on, which is like the financial aspects of it. Is it profitable? Is it not profitable to do this? Right now, it doesn't really make sense because Perfect Order is out there a lot. Not many people really want it. Aurorus is a very common card. It looks like an illustration pool that a lot of people get. But, you know, a few years down the line, when it's probably out of print, or if it's low, and there's other series that have been out since then, Aurorus is an incredibly, incredibly gorgeous card. So for me, I'm going, okay, I see this card being a banger in the future. May not be right now, may not be next year, but is it worth slabbing? I think so if it's a potential 10. If it's not a 10, it's not worth it. But if it's a 10, I think maybe we send this one out. So let's get started in this, shall we? Okay. I'm going to pull up a few things on here. I got to create a new template for my Aurorus, excuse me. And all I'm doing here is taking notes on which exact card we're pulling from. We're going to do a review date of today's date. Okay. I'm going to expand this all the way to 200%. You have no idea what I'm talking about yet, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and review my screen here, and I'll kind of show you what I'm working on. So the first thing I have here is a very blanket kind of thing. Maybe in the future, I can create some AI algorithm with my input on it. And I think I can easily do that by creation in ChatGPT or Gemini, or even better, probably Claude. I can link it directly to like TAGGrading rubric and come out with a probably pretty accurate assessment on the grade just based off my notes that I put in there. So maybe I'll do that in the future, but for now, we're just doing this. Okay. So the first thing that we need to go ahead and do is we're going to go to the centering tool I have, which is TAGGrading. Love this thing. If you haven't used in the past at all, it's free to use. I've never used their actual grading system, but I do like their centering tool. So I scan all the cards already prior to this, and I upload them into my Google Drive. So that way I have available for this. And I'm just uploading it. We get this little advertisement, and this is what it looks like TAGGrading's slab, which is actually kind of clean, but I've never heard of them, so I'm not going to grade with them yet. So when we go in here, this is kind of nice. Okay, so we're zoomed in. We're using the TAGGrading tool. And what this is really going to do for us is going to tell us like the tolerance levels depending on the grading company you're going for. I use TAGGrading, so keep that in mind. If you're using, you know, CGC or BGS or, I don't know, TAG or PSA, whatever, understand what their actual tolerance is for the front. Now, for the for PSA and tag, they have the exact same centering tolerance in the front, which is 10%. The back is different, but we'll talk about that later. But this tool does a great job of just taking the guesswork out of it and gives you a good idea of what the actual grade is. As long as you scan it straight on, it will work just fine. So I zoomed in, and when we're looking on the front for it is a 10% tolerance. And what that means is you see this line right here. We're looking for this out or exterior line and this interior line right here to be stacked up on top of each other, parallel to each other, and on the internal and external border on the top. Now on the bottom, we're doing the exact same thing, and we're just lining these up. I'm just doing this very carelessly right now. I'm just kind of putting on there to show you. So you're getting the border measurements on the bottom and the top, and what you're gonna see here is what percentage of that centering is on top and bottom. So if we zoom back out here, on just the top and bottom, we can see just on that kind of whimsical way I did it, 4456 is the top and bottom. The tolerance is 10%, meaning that needs to be 10% or less of a spread to be considered gem mint for TAGGrading or PSA. In this case, there's an 11% spread currently based on how I measured this. So it would be 1% outside gem mint tolerance. And you might ask yourself like, hey, is that actually a thing that I even care about? If it's 1%, maybe they'll still take it. Now, PSA probably will. Like they actually have it to where they have a little squiggly line between the 10% tolerance. Like, so they're, if it's 1% over something like that, it's probably within their margin of error. So they may accept it. However, tag is AI focused and base, and I have had it 1% off on my Excadrill, and that 1% off made it a 9 rather than a 10. Literally no surface, no corners, no edge wear. Literally the centering was off by 1% on top and bottom, making it 2% overall. So it was the lowest you could go before getting a Gem Mint 10, which just sucked because like the Excadrill value would have been substantially larger at a 10. It still wasn't a large amount, but I thought it was a Gem Mint 10. So when I do these kinds of things, I like to take a margin of error, which just means like, if I'm saying it's a 44.56, I like to take in consideration it could be up to 2% difference on both sides, generally within 1%, but 2. So it could be like a 42.58, which is even worse, right? Or it could be less, because this is dependent on how I scan it, right? So let's go in here. We're looking at measuring these the same way. So like on this left side, you can see it's actually a little bit tilted on the card and how I scanned it. So you can see on the right side, it's a little bit not on the same angle. So what we're going to do is focus on one side. We're putting this one right on the line as close as we can. And we're going to do that right there on this side, even though it's going to be a little off. And actually what I've noticed, and correct me if you've seen this, or maybe you haven't seen this, correcting me is not the right word. If you've seen this, let me know. But with perfect order cards, I've noticed that there's a slight slant to almost all of them that I review. So I think it's really interesting that the cuts are really weird. So I don't know how tag will handle that, but that's the bottom. It's hard to see with all these boxes here, but we're going to try to do the same anyways. In this case, we're going to focus on the center, and we have that one right on the line. And this one, we're going to try to go right on that line. So let's look now. Okay, now it's a 8% difference with that margin of error of 2%. That means we could be potentially at 10. So I think this is borderline on Gem Mint 10, possibly. I'm curious to see how they handle the top portion, because the perfect order cards I've noticed have been a little bit off on the way they cut it. So I'm interested in how they take that into account. But let's go here. Okay, so now we're going to look at the right side of the card. And again, I like to zoom in as much as I can on this. And if the card isn't scanned in properly and is slanted, it kind of messes it up. And mine's a little bit slanted. So what I'm doing here is on the left side. It's hard to see, but it's right on that border right here. So I'm going to try to put the same on this side, right on that line as well. And you can see it kind of like flails, or not flails, but flares up a little bit on that right side as well. We're going to do the same thing on the left. So we're going to hit that outside line, and we're going to also, let me move this all the way over so I can see a better view. Right on that line for the interior. And right there on right there on the exterior. And now we have a pretty squared up card. So what we're seeing here, again, tolerance individually, it's not 10% total. You don't add them together. It is the left and right is 4% difference, which is just less than 10%. And then the top and bottom is 46.54, which is 8%, again, within 10%. So if we view grade, which I think is like the coolest thing about this, it takes the guesswork out of it. PSA, you can see on the front, this is within Gem Mint tolerance. As long as we scanned it in right, we leveled it out right, and we actually put the grades or the lines on correctly, this is potentially a Gem Mint front. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Aurorus for my here, and we'll do there and do graded. I do this for myself for documentation purposes, so you don't actually have to save it. But it is also something like if you do submit a PSA, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do this for yourself. If you're like taking pictures and doing pre-grades, like you should do that anyways before you send it off, just so you're not submitting bad cards. And you know what you're kind of getting. But also there's been a lot of controversy out there lately with PSA and like them stealing cards or switching them out or whatever it might be. So like if you do have a scanned document like this and you have the centering and stuff already scanned through and you just save that, just this with the centering, you have a pretty good image already. Like this is low DPI, like 300 DPI for the actual imagery that I'm using, so low quality, but you can still see if there's errors on it, right? You can see blemishes. You can see you also have a measuring. So if you needed to dispute with PSA in the future for whatever reason, maybe they switch out your card or something, you actually have an image. Like you already have an image of your card, so you could fight against it if you needed to. Okay, now on the back of the card, the tolerance is a lot more lenient for PSA and tag. Again, I'm going tag. Tag is a 30% tolerance, which I think is fair. PSA is a 50% tolerance, so a lot more lenient, but we don't need to worry about that. We just need to get these lines lined up, and it will tell us whether it's within tolerance of Gemin or not. So again, we're just putting those internal border lines and external border lines on the same area. With, keep in mind, we were going to have like a 2% margin of error. Okay, so we're doing the bottom now. Now, obviously, this isn't it's pretty close to an exact science, but you have to have your hand, or you have to do the exact same way every single time to get this right. And I think that's pretty clean. I think that's pretty fair. So just off the top here, we can see that we need to be within 30% tolerance. So let's just click it. This is well within Gemin tolerance. So even if I'm off by a few percent, it's not going to really matter. But we can see here the PSA 10 back, definitely within it. It's not BGS, black label, or even a 10. So it's definitely not going to fit into their categories, but that's okay. If you're going for that, then you care. For me, not going through them, so I do not care. Okay, so we have the front and back done. So we're going to do pre-grade reviews. I'll go here. We're going to say borderline. I'm going to say within 2% margin of error on front centering, easily gem mint on back. So that's my note for the centering portion. And then again, this is the back. The back is a left and right of 6%, top and bottom 2% difference, well within that 30% that is needed for tag gem mint, whereas the back for PSA is 50%, well within that tolerance level as well. Okay, so let me switch back here so you can see my beautiful self, right? Okay, so we have this up and going. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is I'm trying to find my pre-grade reviews. Perfect. Okay. I'm just moving my screen. Ooh, kind of got some static there. I need to figure that out, why my microphone is actually doing that today. But right now we've got a beautiful Aurorus that we're looking at. We want to look at it a little bit more. We got the gloves. Okay, so let's put these on. And you might be saying, hey, that's overkill. Like you don't actually need to use gloves. And you don't. You don't. Now, if you're going with like PSA or another company, then you probably should. With TAGGrading, they actually, as a service for every card that they reviewed, regardless of the type you do, like if you use the bulk or the standard or the priority or whatever type it is, they actually clean your card. Not like clean, but they just like remove fingerprints and dust and things of that nature. That's just a courtesy that they provide. So for me doing this as a card review for TAGGrading, it's not necessary. For PSA, it is, because otherwise they may take that fingerprint, that oil smudge, whatever, into consideration to hold the grade against you. So am I doing this for this? Yes. For consistency for my videos, yes, I'm doing it. Also, for the purpose of just cleanliness and making sure that we get the best review possible for Aurorus, we're going to be doing it as well. So let me go ahead and give you an overhead view. Now, if you've seen this in the past, if you've seen my streams, you know that I like to keep the penny sleeve out, because what you can do is just put it underneath the corner, and then it makes it easy to pick it up without having the risk of actually damaging your card by trying to dig your nail into it or something. So I got this really nice microfiber towel here, and we're just going to go ahead and just easily rinse that off. Not rinse. Don't rinse your cards, please. Don't do what I'm saying. Do as I do. So, okay. So we got that in there. We got that cleaned off. And you may have situations while you're reviewing your cards where you need to redo this again later because maybe you got some other residue on there. But for now, we're in a good spot. Okay, not much residue or anything bad on the actual card situation here. Okay, so here's Aurorus. Beautiful, beautiful, perfect order card. I have noticed on other cards in the past that the cut is a little off-centered, and you can kind of see that when we looked at centering earlier, that the it's thicker on the left than on the right. So I'm interested to see how TAGGrading handles that. But this is the front of the card. Absolutely beautiful. Not familiar with the Pokemon, honestly. I never heard of it until I opened up this card. I'm more of a Gen 1, Gen 2, like OG person that got into the collectible game about half a year ago. And I just went and started like getting into a master set for 151 and Crown Zenith and all that good stuff. But with all that said, let's go into the actual card grading. Okay, so the surface. We already did the centering. The surface is a big part. And what I like to do is start at the top and work my way down. And what we're looking for, the biggest things we're looking for are blemishes, print lines, and discoloration. Okay, or like creases, I guess it would actually be a big one. But this is a pack pull. Okay, this is a pack pull that I had. So the chance of it having like creases or something are very, very minimal, because that would mean that was handled without care, and I have had this in my binder the entire time. So what I'm going to do is start at the top of the card here, and then I'm going to work my way down it. Okay, so looking at the card, I'm just trying to get a little bit closer so I can look underneath here. We're going to look at it overall like this, and then we're going to go ahead and place it into a microscope and get a look there. Now, this card is incredibly beautiful. I think one of the most beautiful things when you're looking at the cards is like the holographic within the eyeball, and they do that a lot. Like a lot of cards have that, and I think it's really cool that they make that little detail pop out. But as we're looking, again, I'm looking for print lines because I've noticed tag actually hits you pretty harshly for those. And as I'm talking, as I'm doing this, I think I see some errors, but they're just my spit. So I just need to make sure that I don't leave water residue from talking while looking at this. But looking at the top of the card, scanning the surface, and then working my way down, we're looking majorly for print lines, which I'm not seeing any kind of print lines. And print lines are always, at least in my experience, horizontally going across and vertically. It's just straight up and down and sideways. I don't usually see it going diagonal. I think that'd be really weird because of how they print it. So we're not going to see that. I don't see any creases. I don't see any kind of blemishes that really stand out from a surface perspective. But one of the things I can see is it looks like some like almost like a blemish, like a skin blemish on the bottom right down here that could be potentially like acne. But let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So right on this corner, you probably can't even really see it. Yeah, I guess you can't even see it on that view. And that's okay. If it's not viewed microscopically, then it is only viewable underneath the angle of light. I don't think it's a severe thing, and I don't believe it's going to be held against us. So with that said, I'm just going to put this down here. And the note that I'm actually going to leave on the front is say that there were no detectable issues under angled light or microscope. Okay, so that's the note that I'm leaving for myself. Another thing that I like to do on the front, which I don't think this is going to be necessary for this card, but I also got a black light. And if there is any kind of like silvering that pokes through the holo in any capacity, it generally pops out pretty easily. And I'm not seeing anything like that within this. So, and that's okay. That's all right. So I'm not seeing anything here. If we really wanted to, we could get the microscope out and go over the entire thing, but we're not going to go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and flip this to the back. Okay, we've already brushed this off. Something that's very viewable as well are roller marks. Okay, and that is something I got dinged on in one of my other cards I graded, and we can look at that in one of my future videos. But roller marks, if they show up, that is a huge ding for tag grading. It can drop you down like a full 1.5 points, even 2 points, in my opinion, based off what I've seen in prior cards. So you got to be careful with any kind of roller marks. And generally, when you're seeing roller marks, the key thing for me, I didn't really see it like on the actual, like when you look at print lines, you see it go generally across the entire card. With roller marks, you see like a scuffing that happens on the edges. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking for is just see if there's any noticeable, and it's not super noticeable. You really have to have an eye for it. I'm not seeing anything on here right now that looks like a roller mark. And I'm not super familiar with it either. So it's very possible that it could be on here. And I'm just completely blind to it. So, yeah. Okay. Not seeing anything. And again, what I like to do is start the surface at the top and work my way down. So I'm looking at this top edge. I'm looking for any kind of roller marks, which it looks like some scuffing, and I'm not seeing that. And as I'm working away my way across, we're looking for blemishes as well. And one of the things that's really noticeable that a lot of people can miss is like within this yellowing, not the yellowing, but the actual yellow lettering of this card, you sometimes will see some factory marks on there, which like looks like black blemishes or black specks. So that's something they also keep an eye out for as well. But this is looking incredibly clean. I don't know how you think or what you think. There might be something within here. I don't think that's anything of concern. But you know what we're going to do? Let's go ahead and throw it underneath the microscope just to double check. Doesn't hurt to double check. And we're going to go into the white whirl area right here. And if something stands out, I'm trying to focus, we should be able to see it quite easily. I'm not really, I mean, maybe there's that little blue dot right there. That is literally microscopic. That's not anything that I would have seen with my naked eye. So I'm not concerned about that. So as we keep moving our way around, yeah, again, you see some pinpoints right there. That's just normal print. I don't think they're going to necessarily hold that against us. I could be wrong. This portion right here, I think that's just normal print wear as well. I don't think there's anything normal or wrong with that. And this is underneath magnified like a microscope. So it's very possible that we're overanalyzing it. Like we're looking way much into it. I think they're normally looking at things underneath the 5 times microscope. And I don't even know what that's at, like 100 times. I'm not 100% sure. So I'm looking at it way more thoroughly than a professional grader would be. But in my defense with tag grading and things like them, they're using artificial intelligence, and they're going through and scanning the entire card in a different way. So they do see a lot of those minor issues. So we got to keep an eye out for that as well. But on the back, I'm not seeing anything wrong with that either. So I'm going to put the card down for just a second. And now I'm going to leave a note in my own pre-grade document that I have. Well, it's just a Google sheet. And the last thing, we should have done this earlier, but the black light again. Let's just scan it over on the black. And on the back of the card, we're not going to have silvering. We're going to have whitening. If there's any kind of whitening that pops out, it'll show up very easily with black light. Not seeing anything there. Okay. So now let's go ahead and move on back to the front. And then now we're going to focus on the corners and edges. We're going to do all of it at one time. I used to break it up into separate individual things. I do within the documentation section of my pre-grade. But here, I'm just going to do all at once and then leave notes. So when you're looking at a card head on, not from the side, not like this, like you can do that. But we're going to look at it head on. We're looking for any silvering on the front, on the top left corner, on the edges on the top, right. Don't see any problems. No edge. And what we're looking for in the front, again, is silvering. So it would, like this holographic and how it looks right here, that shine would shine underneath the black light here. And technically, you would probably see this as well underneath just the normal light. But the black light really accentuates it. We got the bottom right corner we're looking at, and then the bottom, we don't see anything else. Bottom left corner, we're looking fine. And on the left, we look fine there as well. Okay, so corners and edges on the front look pristine. We're going to go back over that here in a second with a microscope, but we're going to go ahead and check out the back. Top left corner, nothing. Not seeing any kind of whitening. Again, the back is different. It's not silvering, it's whitening. And we're not seeing any whitening on these newer cards. At least when they're having holographic, it's usually silvering, especially these full illustrations or illustration rares. Nothing on the right, nothing on the bottom right. Now, if you look at the card from the side, like I'm doing like right here, obviously there's going to be whitening because that's actually like layering of the card. So that's why you got to look at it straight on like this. No whitening on the bottom left or the bottom, and no whitening on the left side of the card. Okay, so what we know and what we're looking at here for the card is we have nothing that we can visibly see with our naked eye on the front or on the back of the card. Okay, and what that means is we're in a really healthy spot, potentially gem mint if that centering is looking solid, as long as our review was solid with the front and back. Okay. Now, I think a good rule to have is if you can see an error with your naked eye, it's most likely not gem mint. Okay. However, there are still things you can see without your naked eye, such as using a black light or a microscope that can still impact the grade. It's just not going to be as impactful as if you saw it with your naked eye. So what we're going to go ahead and do is put it underneath the microscope. Let's go ahead and switch this over. We're going to put the card down. I'm going to move my water real quick. Got to stay hydrated through the stream, you know? And what we're going to do here, we're not going to look at the whole card this way, but what we are going to do is look at the corners. Well, the one thing is to confirm that what I saw with my naked eye is accurate, because the lighting could be off or something like that. And the other thing is just for documentation, because I have to repurpose this for my videos in the future. So doing it right now just saves me time. And I can also point out things if things stand out here that I didn't see. The card is obviously holographic. So here, what we're looking for are a couple of things in the corners. We're looking for any kind of miscuts, which it makes it look like there's some factory tear or some like layering, like a plush pillow. You know how if you pull out some of the plush, like sometimes you see that kind of wear on the edges, and that's kind of what we're looking for here if it's really bad. But we're not seeing that on the top left side. And then we're going to just kind of fly through these edges. And again, we're looking for something to really sparkle and bedazzle out. Normal sparkling is fine because that's just part of the actual card. But we're not seeing anything here. This is the top right. Again, very nice sharp edges. There's no kind of divots or anything like that. Really solid all the way through. I'm gonna move the card over on its right side. And then we're gonna work our way down the right edge. And again, we're just looking for, I'm trying to turn down the lighting a little bit. There we go. I think that makes it a little easier to see. If it's not, let me know. And we're looking again for that silvering on the front. Don't need to go super slow, because if it stands out very obviously if it's true silvering. Bottom right of the card right there, perfectly sharp. When I say sharp, I mean rounded. Like it's a proper like 45-degree arch kind of going through the card. Well, I guess that'd be like a 90-degree arch through the card. So that's quite nice. Now we're on the bottom of the card looking at the edge, and we're just, again, quickly just processing through here. And we're looking for that silvering. Well, actually, we're hoping for no silvering. And you see on this bottom left how you can see a slight, I'll try to put my finger in here so I can point it out. Okay, my finger's just kind of covering it at that point. There is some very, very minor slight silvering on that bottom left. So I'm going to put slight, I'm going to say minor silvering on bottom left. Only visible under magnification. So I didn't see this under blacklight. I didn't see this underneath the naked eye, underneath angled light. So that's why I'm making a very clear distinction. It's only visible under magnification. Okay. And I should also actually add on here. So I'm just rotating the card over for the next, the left side of the card. But I'm going to leave another thing, say, didn't see under black light as another comment. Because that's also important. Also very important. And like looking at now, you couldn't even tell it's there, right? It was only underneath that one angle. So maybe it's minor. And you can have minor dings on the card. Not dings, but errors in the card. And they won't call that out. All right, we're on the left side of the card, going through that edge, looking for silvering. Minor silvering underneath the magnification is not significant. They will not hold that against the card. So I'm not concerned about any kind of minor silvering. That's perfectly okay. Now, we did the corners and edges on the front. I'm going to say the same thing on the front edges. Now we're going on to the back corners. All right. And this one, we're going to turn up the lighting a little bit because it's hard to see the card versus the black background. And again, we're doing the same thing on the corners. We're looking for that nice sharp corner. And when I say sharp, I mean that if you're looking from the interior to exterior borders, they are parallel. And then that corner is nice and round to connect them. There's no kind of flaring happening there. The left side, no problems there on the corners. We're going to go through the top edge now. And again, what we're looking for here, I wish I had a better, lighting on here. It's really reflecting off this quite nastily. But we're going through the top. We're looking at the edge. We're looking for whitening. And you can see like these silvering specks. That's just actually from the background of the material I'm using. That's not part of the card, so no worries about that. This does not make it easy to see whitening with all this lighting reflection. That top right corner looks really, really nice. Nice round and sharp. And we're going to go over to the edge here on the right side of the card. And we're just pushing through. Again, back of the card, we're looking for some whitening. There could also be some scratches. There's this. There's that. I don't know what to really call that, but that's something that we should probably call out that's going to potentially impact the actual edge on the back. I'm going to say minor. It's not like an indentation, but maybe impression. Maybe like a scratch impression on mid right edge. Only visible under magnification. Because again, we didn't see that with our naked eye, so I want to make that distinction. So, better yet, let's go ahead. Let's bring this back to the overhead camera. And let's see if we can see that. So it would have been right about here on the card. I think that's so hard to see. I think it's literally right here. I don't think you're going to be able to see it even with the camera underneath angled light. I can barely see it with my naked eye. I think the view that you had underneath the microscope is probably your best view for this. But it's definitely such a minor impact. I really don't believe it's actually going to be held against the card's review. So there it is again in the flesh that we could not see with our naked eye. So I don't think it's going to be held necessarily against this card, but we're going to make a note of it to see, because we noticed it underneath this magnification, if TAGGrading is going to hold it against us in the future. There's that bottom right corner. Looking nice. Nice sharp edges, perfectly round corner going into each of those edges, no kind of flaring or miscuts. So that's the bottom right of the card. Now we're going to go ahead and do the bottom edge of the card. And what we're looking again here for is any kind of scuffing, ruler marks. Now you see like this kind of break. You see how the lighting kind of throws it off a little and creates that like texturing within the card. I don't know if that's what a roller mark actually is. I don't know if that's a roller mark or if that's like normal card process. I'm not 100% sure. It might be a roller mark. So there's a potential for that. And if that's the case, it's going to drop down to an 8 automatically just based off of that. But I don't know. So I'm going to assume the card's clean and we're just going to keep that going. Okay. We're looking for that whitening speck, see if we see anything, and we don't see anything. That bottom left corner looking very nice, very sharp, very clean. Okay, last edge here, we're going to go through and we're rotating through this. So we're going by this really fast, actually. We're learning how to do these streams a little bit better each week. I would love a live audience at times. Usually it's just me viewing myself. And I would love to have some true Pokemon enthusiasts that are collectors or interested in grading that don't grade, that just have questions. I would love that because it makes it so much more fun being able to interact with the people. Either way, I get to talk to myself, so it's not such a bad day, right? Okay, so overall on that back of that card, after looking through everything, the back looks solid. All right, we get that one minor scratch or impression, whatever you want to call it, right here on that right edge. The corners looked solid. And that's what I'm going to say. All right. Now, let's come back to the overall chat. All right, let's just chat about this a little bit. So we got this beautiful Aurorus, which we're going to go ahead and sleeve. I am going to submit this for grading. Okay, so here's the Aurorus. Beautiful card from Perfect Order. Why not? All right, and this is going to be my third card of the pack. Very cheap card to be grading, to be honest. We should be going for higher end cards that's worth grading, but the whole part of this channel is to teach, educate people on what to look for, and not just educate people, but educate myself as well. So as I'm doing that, this is what I'm doing. Putting it into a semi-rigid so that way it is good to be sent off with my next batch shipment. I have 8 cards that will be going out with this next batch of shipments. And it kind of sucks. Tag actually recently updated their prices. So every card, you have to have, if you want to do the bulk set, it's like $22 per card. And then you have to have a minimum of 10 cards, but they can take 45 plus business days. That's not a problem for me. I don't mind doing that in the future. However, the whole purpose of this is to guess that grade. And that means I have to get it ahead of all these grading submissions, which means I have to do an in-depth review like we just did for the last 25 minutes on every single card, right? So I not on streaming, it takes me less time. I probably do a card in 15 minutes, 10 minutes if there's not a lot going on in the card. Like Aurorus, I could have done in 10 minutes, easy. But right now, what we have is Aurorus, Aerodactyl, and Typhlosion. Okay, so those are the 3 cards we have going on. And if you're curious, like how do I prepare to send it? Put it in the semi-rigid. I got these Ding Defenders off Amazon, pretty inexpensive. I bought a bunch of them. And then all you do is you put the cards in between it like that. And this Ding Defender also comes with these little kits. So you just put it in there, boom, tape it up, and you're good to go. I've sent 10 cards this exact same way in one of these. I've not done more than 10 at one time just because I don't want to take the risk of like denting them or some kind of pressure with it. So yeah, that's how I personally like to do it. But with that said, I have to get these cards back faster, right? Got to get them back faster so I can do reviews, because eventually what I would like to do is do 2 reviews per week. So 2 full card reviews per week. And that is a lot of money because each card right now, with how much I'm paying, I think is $39 a card. So I'm doing $39 a card. I'm doing 8 cards right now. So that's going to be a lot. So let's talk about this Aurorus we just reviewed. So with everything we see, I'm going to go ahead and expand my screen so you can see what I wrote here. But what we have is the Aurorus 92 out of perfect order. We're reviewing this today. We have an estimated grade, which we're going to decide right now based off the notes that we already took on the card. The centering, I like to keep a margin of error of 2%. With the margin of error of 2%, we had an 8% front centering on, I think it was the top and bottom. So even with that 2%, we're at 10, which is within Tag's gem mint tolerance. But the card is slightly, like, not tilted, but like the cut on perfect order cards I've noticed have been a little off on the top. So I'm not sure how TAGGrading is going to handle that. But we're going to say that it's gem mint on the front and back, easily on the back of the card, okay? The surface, when we're looking at this, and how I like to break it down is like we're starting at 10, then we're deducting grades off, okay? So the surface of the card, when we're looking at the front and back, we didn't see any detectable issues underneath the angled light or microscope. Not just that, but we also used my black light to make sure that there wasn't any kind of silvering or whitening happening that we just couldn't see with our naked eye or underneath the angled light. We didn't see anything. So we're still sitting at a 10 here. Now the corners I broke up between front and back, right? So let's do both of those together. The corners here on the front and back together, we notice minor silvering on the bottom left, but we only notice that minor silvering on the corner on the front underneath heavy magnification. I didn't see it with the black light. I didn't see it with my naked eye. So I'm making that note because I'm interested to see how Tag handles that because I saw underneath magnification and they use AI. I don't think they're going to count it. I don't think that their AI system is going to count it, honestly. So I'm going to say that's not deducting anything. The back, no issues either. Now the edges, there were no detected issues on the front edge, and on the back, I left a note saying that there was a minor scratch impression on the mid right side of that edge. So that was really interesting, kind of, and that was only, again, viewable underneath magnification. We didn't see it underneath angled light. I did see it with my naked eye. Once I knew it was there and knew what to look for, I saw it. But it was so hard to see. Like, I'm at like, I don't know, 15 times magnification. It doesn't tell me on my microscope. But it's pretty heavy in there. They may call that out. But I think like on Tag's grading system, they allow up to 2 specs on the back. Now, nothing on the front, but on the back, you can have some issues up to 2. And that can still fall into the gem mint category. So I don't think the corner front is going to cause any issues, but I think the back edge might have a slight issue. I think out of a 1,000-point scale, this might fall into the 970s, which is still gem mint. So I'm going to say gem mint 10. Maybe one day I'll come back in here and be like, hey, I think this is potentially a 970. You know, I can come up with an actual score like that, but I don't quite have that skill yet. I don't know the cards that well. Now with all that said, let's move on. We did our final review of a card. We did our one review today. And if you're watching this back and you're like, hey, it's cool that you're reviewing your cards with everybody. I'd really like your opinion on mine. Go to my Instagram. I have a Discord channel on there, and within that Discord channel, I actually have a link where you can join. Go to the general group, and you can join me on these streams. Talk to me on Discord with that, and send me those images through that channel. And from there, I'll be happy to review the card for you. I won't be able to do a very good job because I can't flip it back and forth or anything with light. Maybe if you send like a video along with the images, I can do some centering with you. But I'll at least be able to give you some basic information, okay? So with that said, let's go into the last but not least, the final portion, which is looking at our tag slab. So we got 5 cards back recently. Last week I opened 1, and this is another one we got back. Okay, let me grab my handy dandy scissors here. And the cards are always top, bottom. So what we're going to do is cut the bottom across so that way we can slide the card up. I already know what the grades are for all the cards I submitted because I can see them online, but this is more for just like an unveil, just for fun for streaming. So once I see the card, I'll know exactly which one it is. Okay, so this is the Darumaka. Is that how you pronounce his name? Darumaka. The slabs are so clean. Like, look at that. Every time I look at it, it's just beautiful. I love the little bit of weight behind him too. I think other grade slabs are just too lightweight. But this is something that I pulled on the should I grade it or trade it channel. Sorry, should I grade it or trade it document series I kind of do on my channel with the playlist. So every week on Wednesdays and Sundays, you'll see a should I grade it or trade it. And this was a card that I was like, okay, I think it's worth potentially grading. You know, that centering on this overall, like that top and bottom looks pretty solid. The left and right looks pretty good. And then you come to the back. You get the top and bottom again looking pretty nice. I think there's there's a little bit of silvering. You can see right there on the top left, or not silvering, but whitening, but nothing too substantial, right? And it's a really cool illustration. So I thought maybe this is going to get a 10. So let me actually go back. Let's see what I did pick. I don't know what I picked. I don't remember. So the only thing I said was that I said centering is a 10. The only issue I saw was that on the top left, there is a white speck, bottom left and top right. So there is white specks in each. And I said there's a slight dent on the right side, but it's not very obvious on the corner. So with that said, I gave it a 9 is what I estimated. All right, let's moment of truth. We got an 8.5. Okay, so that was kind of crazy. So, it looks like a beautiful card. It did a really, really good job here. We got a 9, so we're 0.5 off. Not horrible, right? We didn't do too bad of a job, but it's not perfect. All right, we're getting better at our estimates, but we're learning as we're going. And I can see a little bit of an indentation on the bottom left now that I wasn't seeing before. I wonder if I go back, if that's even on there. Let's go ahead and do a thing. I'm going to pull up my computer. Let's look at the dig report. I'm going to go to grading. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up everything on my other screen here first before pulling you guys in, because I don't want you guys to see my address or anything on the page. Okay, so when we come to the tag page and then you go to your grading section, you can actually search for anyone's cert number. So the easy, cool way to do this is you can actually just scan the actual tag barcode right here at the top. And if you're on your phone, it'll take you directly to it. However, there's also the cert number on the right side of that. So we're just actually going to go ahead and search this. So F9502125. And if you want to follow along, type that in and you'll be able to see the exact same thing that I saw. Okay. So visually inspected just now, I saw a little thing on the bottom left down here. But I called out, I think it was both the top edges and the bottom left edge has some issues. And if you can use a scale to see some of those things, like you can kind of see a little bit on the bottom left. But what we see here is that there's been 14 totally graded. I think I'm getting this right. Out of the 14 graded, mine is the number one highest. Oh, it's literally the only near mint. So I'm number 1 for near mints, 8.5. However, in total, the population is 14. Okay, this can be a little confusing for some people. It was confusing for me. So you can see some of these, like there's a bunch of 2s on here, but you see the T on there, which means it's tied. So like you can actually have the same score. So like this one for Gem and 10 has a 955, but these other ones, they probably graded through like their local game shop or something, or they just paid for the bulk version, which doesn't give you an actual score. And if you pay for like the standard, it breaks the tie. So these all 5 could be at 955, or however many this is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could all be 955, but this one paid for a higher one, so it gives it the number 1 spot. So there is technically a best one. I had the lowest graded Darumaka ever. Now, would I have submitted this for grading if I wanted a 10? No, I would not have submitted this. I thought it was going to get a 9. I got an 8.5. So, you know, if I'm going for a 10, I would have gone for that. But that's interesting. So that's what that means. What we see here is corners. Front, we see one ding, called that out. Bottom left, I'm interested to see if it calls it out. 3 dings on the back corners, which called that out. Centering is perfectly fine, no problems. No edge it wears, no surface issues, nothing like that. Bottom left, called it right there on the front left. We can see that there. I did not call that in my initial report. I just saw that now. So interesting, I missed that portion. That would have probably brought it down to an 8.5 to me, honestly, if I would have caught that initially. So I think I'm pretty close in the grading. Without that, I wonder if this would be in a 9. I think it would have. The front is held more severely than the back is for grading. Corner wear on the top left, top right, bottom left. Called all that out. And I love this. I love this so much. So if you don't use tag, this is a great way to reason like why. So on the front, if you click on it, it'll actually highlight it for you. Boom, right there. You see that little indentation, little nick that went into the card. Okay, so that's that portion. And you come back here and you flip it to the back. And not only this, you can see the centering. So like if I'm going back to my centering, and let me pull up here. Let's go to Darumaka. Where is he? Right here. So do the film. So you can see here, I still got to make the video for it. But if we're looking at the front, this is my graded evaluation that I had originally. We can see that the left and right, I said 50-50. I was within margin of error. I said 2% off, or 2% off. So almost 51, almost 49. So almost 2% off. So pretty dang close. Then on the top and left, we got 48-52. Spot on, dude. Like super happy about that. Okay, now in the back, we can see the same exact thing again. On the top left, when we go here, when we zoom in, it's calling that out. You can see that little like indentation, little nip in there. But also we know there's some whitening there. And then we do the top right, it calls out. You don't see it very well on these visuals, but it's there, which is like exactly what I saw. So I'm not super surprised. Yeah, love that. Love the views. It may be more viewable here. You can't really see it even here, but we called it out underneath magnification. Easier to see them underneath magnification than it is here. This is really cool. It gives you all, like if you have problems, it'll show you right here. These are all your problems. Now you go down here, you're looking at all your front corners, all your back corners. And then when you go to your front edges, it shows you all your edges and whether they're clean or not. And you can see it gives you like fill and phrase scores at 1,000. Everything here is based off of 1,000 score. That's why they're able to get it down to the minute detail. Absolutely love tag grading for that. And then you have such a clean visual for your card. And actually what I'm going to do here is I'm going to JPEG download the front and back, because I like to use these for my videos because I don't have to take my own pictures of them and they look super clean. And if you pay for like the higher end ones, you can actually get like a 360 video. They'll send you the 360 video. That might be worth it for me in the future because I can use, again, that visual for my actual grading videos, which would be really sweet. But yeah, with all that said and done, we had a really successful evening, I think. We got the Darumaka. I got one 8.5. So what we're going to actually do is after they send it to you, I did the pre-package, like the free foil, and that's free service that Tag provides, which is super cool. It also comes with a sleeve. And if I can do this right, geez, I'm going to sleeve it up like so. Here, I'll do my overhead so you can actually see. Put it into its sleeve, so it doesn't get scratched up or anything, because these do get damaged. It's easy to scratch them, to be honest, for any grading company you use. So if you have sleeves for your slabs, or if you don't, I definitely recommend using them. And I like to put the seal on the back so it doesn't obstruct the front. But we got an 8.5, which is not really worth anything. It's actually worth less now than what it was when it's raw. So if I really wanted to get the value for this card, what I would do is crack it and sell it raw as is, which is only worth like $10, I think. But the point of this isn't for me to get 10s. The point of this is for me to get as close to that score as I can based on my evaluations. And what I learned today is that I missed the bottom left. And if I would have accounted for that, I think my mind would have changed a little bit and got an 8.5. It's easier saying that now than it is after the fact, or it's easier to say that after the fact than it is to say before. I'd like to think that I would have caught that score if I would have caught that bottom left. So interesting. I feel like I honestly would have caught that, So actually, let me do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to see if this was a card defect from TAGGrading. So I took a full card review. Okay, so right here in this video, I'm looking at the bottom left right now. I'm calling that out, and I put it underneath the microscope right there. So I put it underneath the microscope. It's really not good visually to see. Really, really hard. But I did talk about it here. What did I say? Let me go back to where I was pointing at it. So there's a little nick on the bottom left. And then I even took a visual of it as well. Which is kind of crazy. I actually did take that into account. And then let's go back to the PreGrade here. I just didn't put the note. So that's why on these reviews that I do, I like to make sure I take notes while I'm doing this, is because something like this would happen. I did take it into account. I did see the nick and I did document it. I just didn't write it into the freaking grading. So it's not a tag error. It's my personal human error. And I probably would have scored it harsher if I would have documented it down. At the end, when I was done doing this review, it obviously didn't get taken into account because I said there's nothing appearing through inner light or black light. So that's all me. Excuse me. With that all said and done, we got a really good stream today. I really appreciate you guys being here and watching this back if you're watching the recording of it. If you have any cards that you want me to review in the future, shoot me something on Discord, Instagram, YouTube. Leave a comment. I would love to review your card. That's the purpose of why I'm here, is to learn and continue to learn and then teach. So I hope you have a great night. Thanks for joining me this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'll be back on here. I'll be moving here soon, so there may be 1 week where I'll have to skip, but I would love to have you back on here for the next Wednesday on this stream. We're going to be looking at another card. I don't know which one yet. Maybe this Gyarados. This is kind of sick, huh? That's a dope card. It's damaged. Heavily damaged. So I'd be interested to look at that together. But again, thanks so much for coming. I hope you have a great day and a good night. Until next time, keep guessing that grade.
さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点未来を占うのさせーの Guess that grade グレードを予想 Guess that grade 君の番だよ Guess that grade さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点未来を占うのさせーの Guess that grade グレードを予想 Guess that grade 君の番だよ Guess that grade さあ始まるよ最高の時間カードの中見極めよう君も一緒にね知識を深めてプロの視点未来を占うのさせーの Guess that grade グレードを予想 Guess that
の番だよ。
Get that grade! さあ始まるよ、最高の時間。カードの中見極めよう、君も一緒にね。